This is going to be a fairly quick one, finishing AutoCorrect with looking at the AutoCorrect actions and how AutoCorrect can help you when you're working with the formula editor with math. So AutoCorrect, the options for AutoCorrect can be found back in the Backstage area. Alt-F-T, we know how to do this, in the proofing AutoCorrect options. The third tab, Actions, has to do with, I'm going to left-click More Actions, some functionality that's described briefly here with the Microsoft help they provide. With these actions engaged, there's a smart tag that will show up that when clicked will allow you to extend the functionality of Excel and do things like add a name to a Microsoft Outlook contact folder. Active Docs allows you to create your own custom Word actions and access the information you need without leaving your document. Connect to external data sources to save time, money, and increase productivity without any programming, and Word Lingo provides some translation services. And the information goes on to say to see other third-party services and products that work with Office, please visit the Office Marketplace. The last bit of functionality with AutoCorrect is the Math AutoCorrect, which helps in building formulas. What I learned earlier today, just actually by playing around because I couldn't get it to work in Excel, Office has the same functionality in Office Word, and there's a checkbox in Office Word that needs to be checked on in order for the functionality to work in Excel. And I'm going to show you where that is. Now you may find that you don't have to do this and you can get the Math AutoCorrect to work in Excel without going through this process. But if it doesn't work for you in Excel, my suggestion is to try this. I'm in Word, and I'm going to go Backstage and go to the options, proofing, AutoCorrect options. This looks a lot like Excel. The Math AutoCorrect has a checkbox in Word that you won't find in Excel that says use Math AutoCorrect rules outside of math regions. And I'm going to left click and turn that on, acknowledge that, and I'm going to close Word. And like I said, I had to turn that on in Word in order to get it to work in Excel. And then I later turned it off in Word and it was still working in Excel. So you may run into some issues trying to use this, but if you do, try that and hopefully it'll work for you. But what it does is, and first we got to also turn it on here in Excel, or make sure it is on, Alt-F-T, proofing AutoCorrect options, Math AutoCorrect, and it's already on, replace text as you type. Now I'm not going to pretend to know what any of these math symbols do, but I can see a backslash above is supposed to become what looks like an upside down T. I'm going to cancel out of that and cancel out of that. So where this comes into play is when you go to the Insert tab and you insert an equation in the symbols group, and I'll pick a big one, and you're in the equation working with it. We should be able to input backslash above space and get an upside down T. And there it is. This formula editor has a lot of functionality. There's all kinds of symbols here. I've recognized one of them, the infinity symbol. All these rest of the symbols here, integral, radical, etc. I don't pretend to know what any of these things do or what they mean, but if you work with formulas, these types of formulas, I'm sure this functionality could come in handy. So just keep in mind, if the AutoCorrect feature for math doesn't work when you're using the formula editor, you may have to go into Word to turn it on there. So that's the last of AutoCorrect. We looked at AutoCorrect actions that are Microsoft and third-party provided functionality that will cause a smart tag to pop up when you're in certain cells that will allow you to do certain things that are beyond the scope of the regular functionality of Excel. And we also looked at the Math AutoCorrect functionality that when turned on can help when you're building mathematical formulas, like the one we're looking at.